Welcome to the Filling Station. I am Dr. Datra M. Cooley, and in this episode, I want to talk with you about life. I say it often, life unfiltered, right? So recently I tried to do a podcast called 137, which is about those dealing with grief and the transitioning of a loved one. And truthfully, I was not there. I thought I was, but I truly was not there. And God knew that I needed to be healed and delivered and set free. I experienced a lot during that time. And there are some things that he had to work in me. He had to work on me and work through me and carry me through. I'm going to say it again. He carried me through. So I'm going to get back to that place. It's just getting back to that place. That's the thing, right? But I wanted to talk with you today about how God knows exactly what we need when we need it. Let me say that, right? Everything that he allows, there's purpose. Nothing happens by chance. Everything has a reason, everything has purpose, and I needed to remind somebody of that. Wherever you are in your life right now, there is purpose, and many times we don't understand why, and we don't understand, what's going on. That's why we have to go back to our Creator and ask him, God, what is it that I need to do? What are my instructions? In Proverbs, he tells us to trust in the Lord and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. He will guide your paths. So, trusting him during the process and knowing that everything that he allows, there is purpose. So now, this is where we are, right? So this particular weekend is today is the day that they marked on his certificate as his transition day. And even though I got the call on the 9th, they still had to listen for another 5 minutes, which rolled over into the next day. So technically it's the 9th, but on paper it's the 10th, and I'm going to still say it was the 9th. But either way, today is the 10th of May, and God has allowed, it's Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day, or yes, happy Mother's Day to all of those mothers, whether you're spiritual mother, godmother, grandmother, auntie, sister stepped up in that role to be a mother. I salute you. I say that often. I salute you, right? So it is Mother's Day, and so my family and I decided to come to Florida for the weekend, not realizing that it was around the same time. And well, I did realize it because we just celebrated his birthday, but little did I know it was going to be like this. Let me say that, right? So, we came to Florida for the weekend. First time having all three of the kids, both of the grandsons. It's amazing. It's an amazing thing. Catch that, right? So God knew that this would be the year anniversary of my dad's transition, but yet and still he used something so meaningful, things that, I say often that we have to find our therapy, and that is so very important, because family is therapy for me, crafting is therapy for me, singing and spending time with God, praise and worship, that's therapy for me. So God allowed us to come here for the weekend, just at this place at this time, so that my mind would not be so focused on what the experience that I had at that hospital those final days of my dad's transition, which was, that's a whole nother chapter. We'll talk about that on another episode. Let me say that, But last night, so my daughter came, they're wanting to play some games, and I was like, not really. It's still, my mind is at that place of I'm thinking, but I'm trying not to think. I'm trying to still enjoy the moment, right? Enjoy the moment, be grateful for where I am, thanking God for what he's brought me through, and the greatness of having my family together, right? But last night I knew that 11:55 or 11:45 was approaching, so they called me right before that time, y'all. I'm telling you, God is so purposeful, right? They called me right before that time just to say, you want to play some games? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go and just do it anyway, not realizing the time that it was. But do you know, God carried me through that moment by just videoing and laughing at them playing this game. It was so funny just watching the things that they were doing. But it's amazing that he took my mind off of that moment of my dad taking his final breath here on this side of heaven, let me say that, to a laughter place of laughing with family, laughing and making, having fun with family. So, if you're going through a rough place in life right now, you have to pull from the positive. And I thank God that was God's way of telling me that I needed to pull from the positive, because even though we celebrated his birthday without him this year, first time, and marking the anniversary of his transitioning, he would want us to be be happy. He will want us to be, joyful and spend time with family. And I try my absolute best to pull from those things, right? Knowing that he would want those things. He would want us to do, and he'll tell you, no, don't do that on my behalf. No, don't do that for me. So I try my best to hold on to that. But y'all, I know life is challenging. Losing a loved one is very, very challenging. It is very emotional, and especially if you were in the hospital and they were sick and they were going through so many different things. Those things you don't erase from your mental Rolodex. It's not something that just goes away, or you try to block it out. It doesn't always happen that way, but you've got to learn to channel your thoughts and channel your energy and pull from the laughter, the smiles, the things that he would do or she would do to make you, to make you laugh or to make you smile. Those things are very, very important. I am so grateful that God allowed me the final days with him, but it's still like an emotional roller coaster because, again, I saw so much. I say often that May 7th changed my life completely. That was the day they called Code Rapid Response, and I keep saying I could not go back and erase the things that he allowed me to see, and because of that, I have to learn to still, again, channel that energy. So I think that's what the Lord is saying to us today. You got to find your therapy. Find the things that pull you to strength. Find the things that make you happy and to make you smile. He knew that my family will carry me through this. It's not by chance that Mother's Day fell on the same exact day of my dad's official transition day. He knew that I will need the energy. He knew that I will need the love, the laughter, the fun, the excitement. He knew that I would need these things, and y'all know he did it. He supplied that need through family. So I encourage you, spend time with the Lord. Pay attention to the signs and the things that he's given you. Pull from your available resources, and don't let that moment just take you to a different place. And I know it's easier said than done because I had to fight through it. Do you hear me? I literally had to fight through it. There were times I just did not want to do anything or go anywhere or say anything, and being around people is I love people, and to not be around people, I knew that that was a red flag, that something was seriously going on. And we'll talk about that another time because depression is real. Let me tell you something. And be careful about talking about people that deal with, battle with things like that, because you don't know how you will respond when things happen to you. You don't know, so you got to be careful not to, one, have a judgmental spirit, but look down on people or look at them in a different way because they are where they are. We all process things differently. Let me say that. And that was one of the things I had to be mindful of during that time with my dad. We all process things differently because it was challenging, and it was just challenging from every aspect, in every area, every way. Let me say that. But God carried me through. God brought me through. He supplied the need. He allowed me to pull from my positive resources, from my available resources, which was spending time with family. And that is definitely one of the things I say so often. Find your therapy. Family allowed me to get through that difficult place. So if you're listening to this today, I encourage you to find your therapy. Find something that brings you joy. Find something that pulls you to strength. Positive, encouraging, something that will pull you to strength every single time. Again, if I can turn on some praise and worship music, I'm a totally different person. If I can spend time with my family, y'all, I can get up and cut cartwheels on the days that I'm not even feeling my best. You get what I'm saying? It just brings me energy. God allows that to be fuel for me. It's therapy for me. And if I can go and craft and make something, and that, even with that, y'all, I stopped doing that one thing that I enjoyed so much. But I'm gradually getting back to that place of doing the things that I know brings me therapy. But during the time of my dad's sickness or illness, I pulled away from that because he was upstairs, and just seeing him that way was just like, it's very challenging. But again, y'all, I'm just talking and having conversations with you today about finding your therapy, spending time with the Lord, pulling from your available resources. And if you're at that place of feeling down, feeling sad, feeling different, find something that will pull you to strength. You've got to learn about life. It's about making adjustments. You've got to learn to make your adjustments. And sometimes we don't plan for everything. Sometimes we can't plan for everything. Let me say that. I would have never thought that my dad and my grandmother would transition 137 days apart. That's like 5 months apart. The two people that love me, and I know that they love me through all the good, the bad, and the not so pretty of me. Let me say that. But he allowed He allowed, let me say that, he allowed me to go through that. And one of the things I say about God, he knows exactly what you can handle, what you cannot handle, what you can process, what you can get through, what you can overcome. He knows because he created you. God created you, and he knows the strength that you have. And y'all, I have called on the Holy Spirit so many times during this transition time or during this journey. Okay, Holy Spirit, I need some help. He said he will not leave you comfortless. So you've got to learn to pull from your available resources. I don't know who needed to hear that one today. Pull from your available resources. The Holy Spirit is waiting on you to call on him, to ask for help, waiting on you to rely on him for help. Let me say that, right? So again, y'all, I hope this is encouraging to somebody today. I wanted to share some of my experiences with you, especially with this journey of that transition. Nobody likes to talk about that transition, right? The crossing over, the passing of a loved one, when they say pass away or died, or I call it transition because my dad saw some things. I know he saw some things, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, find your therapy. Spend time with the Lord. Ask him for help and strength to get through wherever you are. And everything that he allows is purpose. Everything that he allows is purposeful. So I am so grateful that he allowed this time with my family to carry me through what a most difficult time for me, a hurtful place for me. And I'm still in that healing place. Let me tell you, I can't say I'm all the way through. Let me say that. But I know that every step I take with him. He's with me. God is with me. So yeah, I am Miss Dee Dee. Oh, let me rephrase that. I am Dr. Deidre M. Cooley here at the Fill-In Station. I hope and pray that everyone have an amazing day today, y'all, as always, on purpose.